Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mystery Theory. Today is another soft spoken Wednesday, and it's in one of the series that it intrigues me the most, an unsolved mystery. I share with you guys a different couple of cases where people disappear either in a national park, national forest, out for a hike, people with experience and with the supplies that they needed to survive. Some of them didn't survive, some other ones did, like in this case that I'm going to share with you today. But they have the time that they were missing wiped clean from their memory. The ones that are not the lucky and died, they were found in one of the most dangerous places, not likely for people to hike. So, this really is a series of unsolved mysteries, and today we're going to talk about Stephen Kubacki. Now, Stephen was a student, and on the morning of February of 1978, he decided to go skiing near the frozen lake, Lake Michigan. Now, he told his parents about it, and he left. But he never returned home after that day. So his family reported him missing the next day. They searched for him everywhere, not only his family, but also rescue. They canvassed the entire area, and they couldn't find Stephen, but they did find, finally, his skis and poles on the beach of Lake Michigan. Now, this is a good sign and a bad sign, because to get to there, they follow his footprints. Now, they stopped at the lake where the skis and poles were, but then they just disappear. Now you're probably thinking, maybe he got in the water. Well, remember, this is Michigan in February, and Lake Michigan is frozen at this time. So, they still checked to make sure that there was no break in the ice. Maybe he drowned, maybe he walked across. Well, the chances of him going in the water were slim to none. He literally vanished as soon as he got to the beach. Now, something very strange happened at the time. After all day of searching, they were happy to find his skis and poles. And while they were in the area checking for a break in the ice or something that would point to the direction that he took to leave there, they found the backpack somewhat really close to his skis and poles. Now, according to the story and the people that found these things, it was almost like they appeared, okay? They were not just exactly by the skis and poles, but this backpack was so close that it would have been really, really hard to miss when they found the skis and poles. That area was searched before. It was almost impossible that backpack was there. But even after a quick investigation, they realized that nobody could have placed it there while they were searching the area. There were still no signs of Stephen. They, at this point, thought that he died, that he was probably buried in the snow somehow and somewhere. And they did look for quite some time, but they just couldn't find him. Now, 15 months later, on May 5th, 1979, the Kubacki family got a big surprise. Stephen's father opened the door, and to his surprise, it was his son, Stephen. They were just overjoyed. They just couldn't believe it. They couldn't even think how this is possible. How is he alive? And how is he showing up 15 months later? They had so many questions, but they were so happy to see him back home. I can only imagine what that would be. After 15 months of believing that something happened to him, Stephen started to slowly open to his family about what he remembered. And the only thing that he remembered for the last 15 months is that he woke up in Pittsfield, which is about 40 miles away from their home, and that he had a bag full of maps that he didn't recognize. Now, just so you have a better idea, this place was 700 miles away from where the skis and the poles with his backpack were found near Lake Michigan. This was nowhere near that area. But how is it possible that he had no memory of the last 15 months? They had to corroborate his story, and he was sent to different kind of doctors and psychologists, psychiatrists, but they all concluded the same thing. He was perfectly healthy. He didn't have PTSD, nothing that would explain why he couldn't remember. There was no concussion, there was nothing. So they couldn't determine why he didn't want to talk about it, or if he actually forgot about those 15 months that he was away. Now you have to understand that for us, after reading about the stories and learning about them, it kind of fits a profile of things that are going on. But for a doctor, it's kind of hard to understand. And, most people believe that he just didn't want to talk about it. But there was nothing that the doctors could do to explain why he wouldn't, because he had nothing. He was the same guy that disappeared 15 months ago. He just lost 15 months. Now, there is more to the story, and this is where things get a little bit more sketchy. Yeah. But at the same time, it kind of will make sense out of what could have happened to Stephen. Now, there are a series of things that happened in the Lake Michigan area, and some refer to it as a triangle, and I'll explain why, but let's go through some of the things that happen that really are mysteries. Like in 1921, the Rosabelle ship was found overturned in Lake Michigan, but the crew of 11 was never found, either dead or alive. the ship was damaged, and it made sense that it overturned, and it made sense. But where is everyone? Or where did they go? Where the ship was found, it would have been really hard to get to anywhere from there. So this is one of the very first mysteries in Lake Michigan. Now, the second incident, recorded anyways, was on April 28th, 1937, where they captured, I think, Donor, it's his last name. He disappeared from his cabin. This is a very bizarre story where the crew knew that he was inside his cabin, and so they broke the door to enter after realizing that he was not answering and maybe he was injured or something happened to him. And when they got inside the cabin, all his windows and doors were locked from the inside, but he wasn't there. He couldn't have left because he was locked inside the room. But he vanished, and they could never find him. Now, something more recently, in 1950, Northwest Airlines Flight 2501 vanished over Lake Michigan. It was presumed that they crashed, of course, but they could never find the wreckage or bodies. This is still another unsolved mystery. But if we really think about it, I mean, this almost seems like the Bermuda Triangle, doesn't it? A lot of people believe, and I don't know what to tell you, because honestly, it's almost like they just disappeared, like they vanished, they ceased to exist, but not in the normal way. But a lot of people believe that there is an electromagnetic portal in the area. Now, I'm not going to go into that today because that would require me to explain a lot of the quote-unquote science behind it. But it is a possibility, according to some of these strange happenings, that things go into other places that we can't see. Is that even a possibility? I guess. I wish I would have another explanation of what could have happened to all these cases of people that disappeared. I mean, the captain was a person that disappeared. The airline flight, not only the plane disappeared, but also the people inside it. And, Stephen coming back and having his memory wiped clean. I don't know. They're all kind of different, yet something or someone disappears. But we all know that this happens everywhere, so it could be that it's an electromagnetic portal. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that's the one explanation or theory that I found out there for why these things were happening. But cases like this, guys, are all over the US. I mean, I read the case of this little 11-year-old that vanished and ended up in a creek bed later on with no memory of what happened and no injuries and nobody that took him. There's other cases like the firefighter in California with experience in hiking that ended up in a place where he couldn't have hiked with no shoes. There's this other case in Arkansas. I mean, I can keep going. How can these things continue to happen? I really don't know, and I really don't have an explanation, so I guess that's why it really intrigues me to research each and every one of these cases. It is truly an unsolved mystery. But they share something, in different parts of the United States, different national parks, different forests. In this case, Lake Michigan. I'm not scared though. I believe that when it's your time, it will be your time, and no matter where you are, you're gonna go. So it really doesn't stop me from going outdoors. It really doesn't. I think that when we decide to stay inside and be afraid of what could happen is when we make ourselves unhappy. Because in trying to save our lives, we're actually losing it by staying inside and worrying about what if. So maybe there is electromagnetic portal. Maybe there is something out there that it's making people disappear, come back. Some other ones die. But I think I'd rather read about these cases, research them, learn something, maybe ask questions, and maybe just leave my head wondering where they are, what happened, and why these things happened. But at the same time, I don't think I'm willing to leave fearful of what if. Because I think that the alternative is worrying, stressing, anxiety. So for those of you guys that love this series, I hope you take it as for what it is. A case that happened that is baffling, that it's bizarre, that it's intriguing, that it's a mystery. But I hope you understand that, at least I believe, that we all have a due date, and your due date will come when it comes. So no matter if you're in the middle of the forest, or at least I believe that, or if you are in a 7-Eleven, or if you are sitting at home, there's a million things that can go wrong. There's a million ways to go. A heart attack, an explosion, just driving and having an accident while you go to work. I think that no matter how many scary cases I share with you, life is worth living. So please, take this with a grain of salt. This is an unsolved mystery, but chances are that this is not going to happen to you. Chances are that these cases will haunt you if you're scared. But to me, it's still an unsolved mystery that I really, really want to keep in mind. And hope that in my lifetime we can understand or learn what is going on to this, what is happening to these people. What is really going on that we can't explain. And hopefully this, like many other cases, will have a explanation and will stop being an unsolved mystery. So thank you so much for being here today, guys. I hope that you're enjoying this series. Come back on Friday for a whispered video, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.